What is worship to me? Worship is an act of adoration, reverence, love, encouragement.
Worship to me, in a literal sense, is the act of celebrating God through actions and specifically for me, through music.
I find myself worshiping in nature. I find myself worshiping in a church with other voices and people. To me, worship is ultimately just giving God the worth that He deserves.
I think when we gather and we sing and we pray and we explore meaning in our lives with other people, we have an experience that gives us energy and calm assurance and a sense of hope. And so wonder, love, and praise, lost in the wonder of it all, the grandeur of the whole world, but also the great story of Jesus.
It's also about being a part of a community and having an experience of being inspired, being comforted, even being challenged at times.
Worship has always been my way of connecting with God, and as soon as I could play piano or organ in church, that was my way of that's where I found my voice in the way that I could worship.
When we worship, God reaches out to us and reminds us of who God is and the beauty God sees in us. Worship is transformative as it draws us closer to God and to God's children.
You know, as someone who works in and for the church, you would think that my heart and my mind and my soul would always be oriented towards God, but you know, work is still work, and there is life and relationships and kids and schedules. So being able to come together every Sunday and worship and be reminded and reoriented that God is at work and that God's work of the kingdom is what is the most important thing in my life and for the world. That's why worship's important. It's why I worship every Sunday.
I also feel like some of the most powerful and important types of worship that we have are the worships by ourselves when we're on walks.
When you worship, it can be something that is done with many people singing a hymn, or it can be just if I'm walking on the beach of the Baltic Sea in Poland and I'm watching a sunset, I feel like I'm worshiping with God at that point.
So worship is it's that time when we come to give our praise and thanks to God, but it's also a time when we receive some word or inspiration, or we just feel that real presence of God in our lives.